What is going on, everybody? Episode 103 of many here. It is Thursday morning. I was supposed to have this done yesterday. I apologize, but yesterday I was focusing on revamping our menu at Grizzly's, trying to figure out how we can do that, which I've got some really exciting stuff going on with the menu over there. For example, I'll give you guys one little quick sneak peek, and then I'll get into what I'm going to talk about today. But we're looking at, our menu and how we can simplify it, how we can keep the good stuff from the menu so our people are happy, but then also bring in some new stuff, and we're not trying to just throw out the old and just go all new. So we're looking at it, and for example, the breakfast menu, anything that can be a burrito should be able to be an omelet and should be able to be a skillet, right? Like pretty straightforward. So we're combining all of that, and it's going to be a cool little setup. But then we're going to our lunch, our lunch menu. And my mom makes a comment the other day, and she brings up anything that is a burger should be able to be a wrap. And then that kind of got me thinking. I was like, well, that's kind of cool. And I asked her, well, why? And, have you been to a place like that before? And so long story short, anything that can be a burger on our menu is now also going to be able to be a wrap is kind of what we're thinking. And anyways, super cool, super different. I don't know, it sounds cool to me. Smash up the burger and whatever would be on the burger, throw it in a wrap, grill it a little bit, whatever. Anyways, just a little something different for our place. So I didn't get to record yesterday. I was actually going to go for a walk and do my walk and talk like I have these last couple episodes, no video, but audio only. And I don't know what I did to my foot yesterday morning. I must have jumped out of my truck kind of funny once I got to the restaurant. Didn't really feel anything. And then all day I was just hobbling, limping around like the outer, like my pinky toe, my bone, the side of my bone that goes all the way up my foot, up to my ankle on that pinky side was just killing me. No idea why. Excuse me. Still kind of getting over this sickness here. But anyways, so a couple things I want to talk about today. I kind of want to take it back to general fitness things. I had a couple conversations. Actually, I had a conversation yesterday with a gym member, since I've been in the gym a little bit, and other people are recognizing me now from Facebook due to the restaurant content that I've been putting out there. But some very basic, going back to the basics, going back to the beginning, fitness. I want to talk a little bit about like warming up, cooling down. Should I stretch before? Should I stretch after? What kind of stretching is good? I'm not going to get too into the science here. I'm just going to kind of give you my take on it and why I believe it to be the way it is, essentially. So the question I got was, I see that you walked before your workout, yesterday. He goes, I saw that you walked after your workout. Like, did you do that intentionally, or like why? Personally, I just got in the gym. I wanted to get my lift in right away, so I did not get my lift in. My perfect routine would be to come in the gym, warm up for 10 to 20 minutes on the treadmill just to get like my steps up, because I know how busy a lot of us can get. So I encourage getting your steps in right away. And so this is kind of my mindset here on why I do what I do. And then I'll kind of go back to the warming up aspect. But for me, like whatever my main focus is right now, that's what I want to put first, essentially. Now, what I mean by that is yesterday I come into the gym and I really needed to get a lift in because I have not lifted consistently recently. And right now, to me, getting a strength training workout is a little bit more important than making sure I get my perfect amount of steps. Although I want to get my steps in as well. So again, whatever my focus is, it's hard sometimes when you have multiple focuses, when you have multiple goals, multiple things you want to accomplish. So sometimes putting what you need to do first is important. So for me, when I've been coming in the gym, I've been wanting to get in here and get out as fast as possible, not because I don't enjoy it, but because I just want to be in the restaurant. I just want to be there. I just want to even if I don't feel like I'm I just want to be in that area. I just want my mind is there currently. So, and I should preface for those listening, my mind is coming back a little bit more. That's why I've been able to be in the gym. I've been getting home earlier at nights. I haven't been staying at the restaurant until like 8 p.m. like I was before. My sleep is improved, right? Like we're already getting through that beginning phase. So this is cool. Again, something different. But so yesterday, the day before, my focus was get in here, get a lift, and then I'll try to get outside and get my steps in because it's been nice weather. So yeah, he goes, why'd you walk after versus before? I didn't really have a great answer. It was just like, I needed to get my lift in, so I made sure I got my lift in, and then sorry, I'm mumbling here, but I ended up going on the treadmill after my workout, and like my goal was 20 minutes, and like every minute that went by, I was just watching the screen, like, can I get off yet? I tried talking myself into getting off at 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, like literally, and then finally it was like 17, 18, and I'm like, okay, I can make it to 20, right? And it was nothing crazy. It's not like I was doing an incline walk or anything. I was just, again, I didn't want to be on there. I just wanted to kind of go do my own thing, take my shower, get ready for the day. So when it comes to getting in the gym and deciding how you should warm up, how you should cool down, when it comes to your warm up, and with age, this gets more and more important. When you're young, you're more, your muscles and your bones and everything is just, it's different than as we get older, right? So although it's important to warm up at all ages, if you look at athletes in school, they're doing their, what we call dynamic stretching. They're doing their like functional fitness warm-up routine, which is like your high knees, your toe touches, your side shuffles, your karaoke, right? Like all these warm-ups. It's like dual purpose. One, to get your muscles warmed up. Two, to get your blood going, your heart, like it's just really to get you feeling good and loosening the muscles that way. So for all ages, dynamic stretching is a good idea. I'm not saying you have to go do sprints or jogs or whatever, but warming up in a dynamic routine is good. This would be, and this is something I don't even do a lot of. I just hop on the treadmill like I am right now as I'm talking to you. The treadmill's a fine warm-up. The elliptical's a fine warm-up. The bike, whatever. We're trying to get our blood going. We're trying to get stuff moving before we start trying to lift. Now, the perfect warm-up routine for everybody, I'm in Grizzly Berlin this morning, but you'd find kind of your walkway. I'll use Berlin as an example. We've got our turf set up here. Dynamic stretching, I think, would still win, and I've been disconnected from being a coach, so take my stuff with a grain of salt. If you're listening, obviously connecting with somebody like Kimber, Kira, Ryan, Chloe, our Watoma and Berlin coaches would be a good idea. But in the perfect world, dynamic stretching is still the way to go. So, for example, you would go on the turf and you would do exercises that are obviously body weight, that you're just walking the length of the turf. So, for example, I'm going to do a set of lunges down, and on the way back, maybe I'm going to do side lunges, which is just like a sideways lunge. It's kind of hard to explain over just audio and not seeing me, but I'm going to be doing exercises that I'm walking and stretching. And again, these are dynamic stretches. So I keep saying dynamic. There's also what's called static stretches, right? Static stretches are going to be when you sit and hold. This is going to be more of like your hold a stretch for 30 seconds. Hold a toe touch for 30 seconds, right? Hold your arm across your body for 30 seconds, right? This is like elongating the muscle. This is stretching it out. This is actually a better post-workout, cool down, stretch. The stretching is better for recovery purposes, for, increasing flexibility. But there's studies out there that show, or that did say when I was more into this, when I was more into studying this. Now I've just got my own routine and I do what I do. But the static stretching beforehand isn't always the best because you're elongating that muscle. Now, if you're coming in here and you're going to hit some biceps and triceps and whatever, is it bad to do, a 30-second toe touch and stretch your hamstrings? No. But I think the study is more or less, if you're a sprinter, if you're going for a jog, actually holding a static stretch isn't better to stretch your legs out and get them warmed up. It's actually better to do your functional dynamic stretching, warming up, go for your walk, do your high knees, knees to chest, and anyways, it's hard to explain these stretch names. Everybody's going to call them something different, but in the case you're going for a jog or going for a sprint, or you're doing your sprint workout, it's not always ideal to hold and elongate that muscle beforehand, right? So something to look into. If you have more questions, again, bump into me and I'll probably be able to explain it better in person. This isn't something I've talked about in a long time. Talking to Kimber, Kira, again, our coaches, Ryan, Chloe, that would be a good thing as well. Okay, so now that we've talked about our dynamic stretching and our static stretching, again, static is post-workout, ideally. Dynamic is more of your warm-up. I do recommend at the very least, let's go back to my walking conversation, hop on the tread for 5-10 minutes before you get to the gym. If you are in our personal training programs, I know we do some warm-up stuff. If you can get to your sessions 5-10 minutes early, you can hop in the treadmill, you can hop in the elliptical, hop on the bike. Again, just getting that blood flowing a little bit more. It's not going to hurt you. It's only going to help. Again, getting that heart rate ready to go, getting that heart rate up and ready to go and work for you is great. So now if we go to our cool down, something important to think about, and this is something I was going to look up a little bit before I brought it up, but I'm just going to say my couple sentences here and then maybe it'll spur a thought for you or you can think about it. But my best example is this. It's very important to slowly come out of your cool down, or like at the end of your workout, say you're doing like a high intensity workout, and the example is always spin, because I've heard stories of this happening. But if you are in a spin class, if you are doing a very high intensity, again, like your sprint like that, spin class, if you're in a spinning class, it always has a cool down. It always has at the end, we slow it down, we bring it back, right? We kind of come down and relax and bring our heart rates down slowly, not immediately, not drastically. So the thought here is, again, I'm just going to use spin for example. If you are spinning and you're right at the peak of the workout and you're going as fast as you can, and then you just kind of come to a stop and hop off that bike. Again, I don't know the science. I don't know why it happens, but essentially that can cause you to get lightheaded, get dizzy, pass out, right? Like there is a reason we cool down and come to a stop slower, not an immediate and hop off. And so, again, if you're working out, again, we're just talking about working out here at Grizzly. I do recommend trying to do a 5-10 minute warm-up routine. That doesn't necessarily mean static stretching. That means get your blood going, get your blood moving. At the end of your workout, you should spend 5-10 minutes stretching, relaxing, cooling down, increasing your chances of recovery. For me, my goal is a lot of steps, but my perfect routine would be to come in, walk my 20 minutes at 3 to 3.4, 3.2 miles an hour, make sure I get at least my mile in, so I've got at least 2,000 steps out of the way. I would go and do my 45 minutes of strength training, and then ideally, and this is something I'm, at age 27, this is something I need to get better at with age. The better you create habits at a young age, the better, because you'll stick with them. So something I need to start spending more time on and just saying, you know what, I have to devote the time to it, is a post-workout stretch. I think hamstring flexibility is one of the most important things to be flexible with age for all of us, to eliminate low back pain, to eliminate potential injury, to be able to pick stuff up off the ground, to keep a nice loose lower back. But flexibility is going to be, I think it's like flexibility and strength training are like how strong you are and how flexible you are. Not relative to like world's strongest man, but how flexible you are and how capable and strong you are in order to take care of yourself, right? Those are like the two factors, or like two of the biggest factors for longevity, right? Living longer, healthier, happier lives, which is what we're after here at the Grizzly Life. So spending time taking care of yourself, not rushing to work, give yourself some time, stretch after your workout. And again, when you're younger, if you're younger listening to this, it's easy to say, again, this is one of those things. We're not thinking far enough ahead in the future. And the younger you can be and instill these habits, the better off you're going to be when you're older. So, again, the saying is, or not the saying is, but, if I can do these things when I'm in my 20s and 30s and keep them as habits as I get in my 40s and 50s, they'll be routine. Now, all of a sudden, if you are young and listening to this and you don't start now, if you don't get in a routine and get in a habit, it's a lot harder to create those habits when you're older because you're just fighting against all of those years that you didn't do anything. Now, that said, at any age, I'm not trying to be contradicting here, but if you are in your 50s and you're not working out, yes, it's still very important that you get into it and you stick with it. I'm just saying, if you have time on your side at this very moment, which we all do, I'd rather you start at 50 than 70, but if you're 70 and you haven't done it, I'd love you to start now too, right? Again, it's this contradicting thing, but the younger you can start, the youngest you're going to be today, get after it, make it a goal, start doing it, put your stretching and put your strength training, two things that got to happen. So anyways, that's my warm-up and cool-down, static stretching, all of that I wanted to talk about. I want to start giving you guys some more general fitness stuff, just so you guys can kind of hear my 2 cents. It's not always the best 2 cents, but at least it's kind of where my mind is at. When I was in high school, we would do, when we were in sports, again, right? I'm sure all of you have watched your kids, grandkids, or maybe when you played in school. You remember warming up before, your sports game or before practice or whatever, right? You would do your arm circles. That's a dynamic warm up to warm the shoulders up, right? And so just think back to those times. That's kind of what our dynamic stretching is going to be, our dynamic warm up. So anyways, today I'll give you guys some quick updates. Today's episode 103. Next episode is 104. That is going to be our official, end of the first year of 2 podcasts a week. I think what I'm going to do for our next podcast is I'm actually going to recap the story up to this point. I want to tell, right now when people ask, what's your story, tell me about it. I always say go back and listen to episodes 1 through 4, as those are our beginning episodes that I talk about the story. I'm going to do one long video of the story, try to get all the details, make sure I get it in order, and try not to leave things out. But I just want to renew that. I want to bring that back out. I want to talk up to this point now of the restaurant and just kind of everything that's going on. And anyways, so I think that would be kind of a cool 1 year completed. We started the year, we started off with giving the story, and then now that I've had some practice in doing the podcast, I would like to bring that back to life and just bring that back up front and center. Okay, so that's kind of my thoughts for episode 104. Today, so good news for myself and for those of you that are listening that care. I have been in the gym 3 days this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, today is Thursday. We got our chest and tricep, back and bicep, and now we're doing our lower body day today. So we did push, pull, and now we're doing lower body, which is very exciting. Yesterday I did not get enough steps in due to my foot injury. I don't know what was going on in that, but it feels better this morning as I'm walking and talking to you. So today I fly out to Orlando this evening to go hang out with a bunch of gym owners and to listen to some awesome speakers. I mentioned Joey Coleman and I believe Jeff Hoffman are my speakers, or are the speakers. So Friday we've got Joey Coleman all day, and then we'll do some networking and hanging out with the gym owners. And then Saturday we will be listening to Mr. Hoffman. So the cool thing about these events, I'll kind of break it down. Basically what happens is there's say 35 gym owners or something, 40, 30. There's a good amount of us, not too many for one house, and we don't get a hotel. So usually what happens is this mastermind group that we're in, they book a mansion of some sort or some awesome place to stay, and then they book a couple houses right next to it in the same neighborhood area as much as they can, so that way we all have a place to stay, and then we all go hang out at the main house for the day. We basically just cram into a big living room. They set up some tables that they or chairs that they gather all from throughout the house. We all just kind of sit there, relax, on couches, and think of the chairs that you would find in a living room, right? This isn't this isn't formal by any means. This is kick back, relax, and then Grandpa's essentially telling a story in the living room, right? That's basically the vibe we've got going on. So it's relaxed for sure. That's cool. We do have the speakers come in, and what else is cool is they also bring a chef with. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner is included every day. Oh, my treadmill's going into cool down mode. If you guys ever have that happen, that's always the worst. So there's a chef every day, and they actually bring them. These gym owner groups are out of Arizona, or the guy who runs the mastermind's out of Arizona, and there's a chef there that he really likes, so he pays him and brings him out, and we get our breakfast, our lunch, and our dinner right there. And it's anyways, really cool, really fun. I'm always looking forward to the food. There's usually a steak night, usually burrito, or not burritos, but they're really good omelets in the morning. They've got a fantastic chorizo, and that's the only time I really eat chorizo. So anyways, going out there tonight. I'm going to fly out. I'll be in at 6 o'clock their time, and hopefully I can get some more workouts out there. But I'm looking forward to kind of getting a fresh head, cleaning some fresh air, clearing my head, getting some new ideas, coming back re-energized and rejuvenated, and implement some awesome things for the gym, for the restaurant, right? Like, so this is always a good thing. So these events happen like twice a year, where we go off campus and we hang out and whatever. So there will be plenty of time to kind of connect with other gym owners. I'm hoping there's some time that I can maybe hit a gym down there as well. If I could just get one day in, like Friday or something, that'd be cool. Usually we start pretty early in the morning though. I mean, early in the morning being breakfast is, 7:30 to 8:30, and then we're going right away. So again, you go to one of these houses and then you got to get you got to get an Uber and drive 15 minutes to a gym and then Uber back and shower, so it's just tough sometimes with timing of that and being prepared for all that. So anyways, that's what I've got going on. I'm trying to think if there's any other updates I'd like to give you guys some more input. I know I want to talk to you guys about recovery tools, like the Theragun or the massage gun that you see people using. Like I said, what's red light therapy about, and is it all that great for you? I even wouldn't mind talking a little bit about tanning. I don't really know a whole lot about it. I know some people are very against it. Some people are for it. But I think that's all I've got for you guys today. I just wanted to talk about kind of that stretching, that warm-up and cool-down routine. It's something, I say so simple. It's just the basics. It's something that I wouldn't think about talking to you guys about, but hopefully you guys can kind of understand and learn about that. It's not ideal to hold stretching, to do stretch holds before your workout. Also, when you are warming up for your workouts, if you're going to do your strength training, of course, once you get going, your first sets and exercises aren't full out, right? Like, and I shouldn't have to say that, but I'm saying it. The more I learn, if I don't say it, if I didn't tell you, this goes for my team, like this is my staff, right? It's something that you think might be so simple. If you don't say it, though, it's your fault for not saying it, right? Like, and if your team does the complete opposite of what you wanted them to do, or if they didn't know all the rules or instructions, right, because I didn't tell you. So when you get into your workout, your first couple sets or exercises are lighter weights, higher reps, getting warmed up, warming those muscles up, getting them going, and then we kind of work into our heavy sets, right? We don't go into a heavy back squat right away. We don't go into a set of 5 right away. We try to get those quads warmed up and everything moving. So just think about that. Warm up, take care of yourself, put your strength training routines high, and make sure you're also getting your flexibility in as well. That's something that I personally need to work on. So if you see me, ask me if I've been stretching lately. I'll laugh at you, and I'll probably say no, but I know I need to. So anyways, episode 103 in the books. I appreciate you guys. Sorry for not getting this episode out earlier. I will do better. I appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And if you're listening, come out to the fish fry at Grizzly's Friday night, and or come out for prime rib on Saturday, as we're doing prime rib and New York strips on Saturday now as well. So appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much. If you want to add me on Snapchat, Colton.Burt, Instagram, Facebook, ColtonBurt19. See you soon.